going to show you how to use our sitting Santa mould. He's from a range of 4 Christmas moulds. So just pat some corn flour into the mould and then tap out so you haven't got too much. I've got some marzipan that I've coloured with pink and peach. I've just kneaded it and rolled it into a smooth sausage shape to press into the mould. I'm using marzipan because I like to use marzipan for skin. It gives a really good skin colour. So the instruction leaflet will tell you the exact weight of how much paste to put into the mould so you get the right amount. But if you do get too much, if you haven't weighed it and you get too much, you just take it off, push all the excess paste to one point and just push it off with your thumb. So as I press into the mould, I'm pressing down firmly to make sure I pick up all the detail, and I'm making sure I keep it level with the back of the mould and not going over the edges anywhere. So just check that before I take it out. I'm going to take out from this edge here because it's the longest. So if you just pull back on that edge and bend and flex the mould to push Santa out. He should come out very easily. If he doesn't, you might need to add a little bit Tylo to firm the marzipan up. So I'm going to colour him now. Start with a little bit of pink, rubbed really well into kitchen paper. And just brush it onto his cheeks, just above his moustache there. And then you can brush a little bit on his nose as well, give him a bit of colour. I'm going to paint his eyes, so a little bit of alcohol mixed with black powder colour. Mix it in the lid so you can just reuse it over and over again. The alcohol paints really well and it dries very, very quickly. So I've painted in his 2 little black eyes there. And now we just want to put a little dot of white into each eye. Little twinkle. So you just put it on the same side, on each side, okay? And then with the white, while I've still got the white powder, I'll paint his beard and moustache. I like to do the beard and moustache and the eyebrows in a plain white colour, and then I'll do his fur trims in the luster. So if I paint his eyebrows, and then his moustache, and then the beard. Sometimes when you paint, if you paint with, you know, as you go along, it ends up different consistencies. You might need to go over it again just to make it look, you know, the same all over, because the alcohol does dry very, very quickly as you're working. So that's nearly done. Just tidy up the edges a little bit. Okay. Just neaten that. Make it look a bit smoother. Okay, so that's his beard on. So now I'll go on to the red. So again, I'm going to mix with the alcohol, the red powder. There's quite a lot of red to paint, so I've got quite a big brush, but what I'll do is just get the main areas and then go fill in anywhere I can't quite get in with a smaller brush. Across his trousers. What I'm going to do as well, when the red is dry, is just shade it a little bit as well with a slightly darker red. Turn him round and being careful not to touch any of the painted areas. Even when they're dry, the painted areas, the colour is more likely to come off because the alcohol will have completely evaporated, so you're just left with powder sitting on top of your figure. So you've just got to be careful. So I'm just finishing off now into all the little corners. Missed out one important detail there, his hat. So I'll go back up to his hat. Okay. So now I'll do his fur trims. So I'll use the luster this time, just so it's different to the white on his beard and his moustache and eyebrows. So just mix in the powder with the alcohol. It's best painted on quite thickly, this, to get a good shine. Before it's dried, you could actually add a little bit of edible glitter, such as, you know, magic sparkles, if you wanted to his hat. And then his trim above his boots, his wrist, and then his jacket. Now I'm just going to colour his boots, so if I just use some black powder, rub it into the brush really well, and then just colour over his boots. Or you could paint them for a, you know, a stronger colour if you wanted to. I think it would look better painted actually, so yeah. Paint them in. Make sure you go right round the edge, so when you sit him up to attach him to the top or the side of your cake, there's no gaps. This is hard not to touch. You don't want black all over your hands, so be very careful. Right up to the edge there, and then I just need to do Santa's mittens. So he's nearly done. I think he does look better if you shade him a little bit with some slightly deeper red. So all I'm going to do is just have a little bit of red powder and then just add a touch of black to it. And then anywhere there's a crease, like his hat, you can just shade it a little bit, just paint. That will dry a lot lighter than it looks at the moment. Just into his legs and his elbows. I am doing it very, very quickly here, but you know, you can take more time. Go back over that. If it dries too light, you can go back over again or just add another touch of black to it. So that's the little Santa. It's also quite nice to finish off his shoes with a little bit of pearl luster brushed over. Or silver. So if I just do that. Okay. Now also on the Santa mould, you get some little presents and a cracker. So I think there's enough corn flour in that. Don't need to put any more in. So I've got some paste that I've coloured green. So if I just press that in very firmly, take it up to the top, push the excess paste into one side and just pull off with my thumb. That's ready to remove. So I'll just pull the edge of the mould back and it drops out. Now I want some gold to paint the ribbon. So if I just mix the powder again with some alcohol and paint the gold ribbon. Again, make sure you go over each side. And then finally the bow on the top. Okay, there's a little bit of corn flour on there, so I'll just brush that off. There's a little bit of lustre on that brush, that just finishes the green off nicely. Okay, it's a little present to go with Santa. And then the cracker, just a little bit of corn flour, sausage of paste into the cracker. That's only slightly too much, so I'll just take that little edge off. Make sure it's not going over the edge. Just turn over, pull the mould back, and you've got your little cracker there. And then you can paint a little, maybe a little edge to it, little edge of gold or silver, and then maybe paint something in the centre, like a little star or a tree to finish it. It's a very bad star, but I did it very quickly, so just so you could see, get the idea. Now, I said before, that was from a range of 4 new Christmas moulds. There's his other friends there.